Hey there, gang. Avatar Standard is in full swing, bringing with it some amazing characters and fascinating creatures, which makes me think about going to the zoo. And remember, the zoo is an excellent place to study the habits of human beings. Let's play some head games. Friends, opponents, fantastic beasts, and the people who love them, welcome to Head Games Arena. My name is Jetterex, and today we are going to the zoo. And by that, of course, I mean we are playing a deck that I'm calling Simic Zookeeper or Simic Zoo. Listen, I know there's a modern deck that uses the term zoo. I'm not actually even sure why it's called that, but this is why this deck is called this. Diligent Zookeeper is a 4-mana 4/4. Each non-human creature you control gets +1/+1 for each of its creature types to a maximum of 10. So the idea here is we're playing with a whole bunch of creatures that already have several creature types that don't include humans, so this essentially ends up being a +2/+2 to almost your whole team. It is incredibly powerful. So we are playing this alongside Ouroboros, the 4-mana 1/3 that puts counters on your creatures equal to its power. So you can see the pattern here, right? These 4-drop creatures make your whole team incredibly big, incredibly quickly, and they actually work off of each other. Diligent Zookeeper making Ouroboros even bigger to put more counters on everything. So the plan here is to get mana accelerants onto the table as quickly as possible and speed out one of these 4-drops to then make your mana accelerant creatures from tiny little not so threatening creatures to mid-range very realistically threatening creatures. So 8 1-mana mana accelerants, 4 Llanowar elves, 4 gene pollinators, and then 4 copies of Badgermole cub. Everybody knows that this card is incredibly good. We've seen it in several different kind of deck types. It is very clearly the truth. 2-mana creature. On it enters, it earthbends 1, which turns a land into a creature and puts a counter on it. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. So it makes all of your mana dorks, including earthbound lands, produce 2 mana. So Llanowar elf on 1, Badgermole on 2, equals 6 mana on turn 3 if you hit all of your land drops. Incredibly powerful, which then allows you to drop one of these 4-drop creatures and maybe even another creature on the third turn. Just absolutely backbreaking when it goes off. The rest of the deck is just other utility creatures to fill out the rest of the board and kind of keep you in the game in different situations. Spectral Sailor is a flyer that flashes in that you can sink mana into to draw cards. Pawpack Recruit is just a cheap creature that can actually be multiple creatures later on in the game with the Offspring ability that puts counters on your creatures when your opponents target your stuff. 2 copies of Azure Beastbinder as a pseudo unblockable threat that also nerfs your opponent creatures. A little bit more interaction here. Flood Pit Drowner only has 1 creature type, but that tap a creature and put a stun counter on it, you cannot value that highly enough. This card is necessary for the deck. 1 copy of Keen-Eyed Curator as a way to deal with our opponent's graveyard. We're still holding on to 1 copy of Druneth. This is Jackal for the Spider-Man fans that makes copies of your creatures based on Druneth's power. 1 copy of Tong just as another mana sink to draw us cards later in the game. 4 copies of Tidebinder to stop our opponent's activated and triggers abilities, especially from Bringer of the Last Gift, the one that wipes the board and does the trick with Kavero. This shuts that off under the right circumstances. 1 copy of Tybar just as another way to pump the team. So that is the deck. You will find that it is very aggressive, and so the games are going to be very short. Before we head over into those games, I'd like to invite everybody to please like, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to see in Avatar Standard. I'm super excited about this set, super excited about the standard format for the first time in a long time. So thanks as always for watching. Let's play some head games. Game 1 today with Simic Zoo. Calling it Zoo. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Sometimes we put spirit pirates in the zoo. Okay. This is fine. It's not great. It's just fine. So we're on the draw. That's a lot of 1-drops, right? So we come out the gate pretty fast depending on what our opponent is trying to accomplish. So we can play... I think we'll go ahead and play Starting Town and play Gene Pollinator. Our opponent does not have the bounce spell. Let's see if the white is their second color. We can't tell for now, but looking like probably. Boomerang basics. Bounces our creature. Okay, so we will play our Willow Rush Verge And I think we replay the Pollinator and just pass. So we get to flash in Spectral Sailor on their end step. Yeah, that feels great. So they're playing the Lesson deck, which means they have an enormous amount of removal. So we'll get the Sailor in. Botanical Sanctum is excellent for us. I think... So I can... Are they playing board wipes in this deck? I don't think so. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play Badgermole Cub on our starting town. We're going to tap the starting town for green, and we're going to play both of these Paw Patch recruits. We have mana for Ouroboros next turn, so our opponent is in trouble even if they do several removal spells, which is what their deck is trying to do. Okay, we're gonna put the counters on the Paw Patch recruits. What else you got? 2 mana means they have... 2 mana means they have a counter spell. So we are gonna do it like this. And we'll say go. We're gonna flash in Wan Chi Tong on their end step. Okay, that's not a search, right? Okay, abandon attachments for our opponent, discards a card and draws 2. We're in a good position. I feel very good about where we're at. Combustion Technique. So we'll Spectral Sailor, other Paw Patch recruit. Combustion Technique exiles our creature. I think we've got the win here. Wan Chi Tong for 2. Ouroboros. That's it! That's how fast this deck can be. On to game 2 with Simic Zoo. We are 1-0 on the draw again. Elves into Badgermole is an incredibly powerful start, so we are definitely keeping this hand. Question is, what is our opponent doing? Mono black for our opponent. Time color gets in for 2. Let's both go to 18. Okay. We'll start with a forest and a Llanowar Elf. So I would love to draw a 2 mana spell to follow up the Badgermole Cub play with. Okay. Stash Skeleton for our opponent. That's not it. That's okay. We have another Llanowar Elf. So let's play Willow Rush Verge. I'm very tempted to hold up Tidebinder here, but I really think we want to be the aggressor. So we're going to make our forest a creature, and then we will tap the elf for the other elf. This gives us an enormous amount of mana next turn, which if they don't deal with our creatures means we get to play a very expensive Wan Chi Tong next turn. Corpses of the Lost for our opponent. They're going to get in for 6. We will take the 6. Alright, we will play Breeding Pool untapped. Okay, Zookeeper. 1, 2, 3. It gets in. Honestly, I think Zookeeper is what we do next turn. Leaving up Wan Chi Tong and Tidebinder is very strong here. So we're going to get in with Badgermole Cub and just say go. Our opponent doesn't have a lot of mana, and we do. We have 8 available mana right now. Sunset Saboteur for our opponent. Timeline Color. Our opponent gets in with everything? Okay. So do we block? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go to 2. So we play Wan Chi Tong. It gets 6 counters. So it ends up a 7/7 and then +2/+2 from the Zookeeper. Makes it a 9/9. Well, and again, we don't even have to take all of this damage. Okay, yep. We're going to play Wan Shi Tong for 6. We're going to block the 3/2 and take 5. We're going to play a land for turn. Play a Zookeeper. Is that enough? It's almost not enough, unfortunately. I think we actually have to take the turn off. If I attack with everything, they block the Badgermole and they take 15. And then we don't have any blockers, so we just attack for 9. Could I have double Zookeepered there? I don't know that it matters. We're going to hold now. Wow. Look at that. What a game. Game 3 on our trip to the zoo. We are currently 1-1 after a staggering loss. After a very fun loss to Mono Black to a Villainous Wrath. Yeah, we can definitely keep this. That was that hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Hi, friendly opponent. How you doing? Okay, forest for our opponent. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Badgermole here on Botanical Sanctum and then pass. I guess I could have played a second Badgermole. I'm not sure if that's right. They're probably going to just destroy one of our creatures here with their 2 mana. That seems good. Okay, Boomerang Basics for our opponent. Do you have another one? You do. Yeah, we're going to flash in the Flood Pit Drowners here so that we have something to attack them with. We'll play Starting Town. Yeah, we're going to Badgermole this forest. And then we're Badgermole our Starting Town, and we'll get in for 2. All we need is a payoff now. Zookeeper or a Boroid. Either of those off the top means we win. Our opponent is happy with what we're playing today. On to game 4. Currently 2-1 with Zoo. Listen, I know there was an old modern deck called Zoo. I think this is more appropriate for it because it literally has a card called Zookeeper in it. This is perfect. Black-blue for our opponent. We'll start with a forest and a gene pollinator. If they don't kill the pollinator, we have an incredibly explosive start. Okay. Okay. This means our opponent. Like I'm looking at those colors and thinking thinking that our opponent is playing the Reanimator deck. So let's actually let's get Starting Town down. We'll play Badgermole Cub. Target our forest. We'll get 2 green out of the pollinator and play another Badgermole Cub. This is really bananas. This is showing how powerful Badgermole Cub is. If you have multiple copies of it in your opening hand, I now have 5 creatures on board. Again, and really, like, our opponent doesn't know it, but I'm going to make my board very big this turn. Okay, Awaken the Honored Dead gets one of the Badgermoles. Yep. So I have to hold up Tishana here, I think. So let's get down Willow Rush Verge. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, 6, 7 mana. So can I play Zookeeper and hold up Tishana? I can. I'm going to play Zookeeper. Attack with my remaining Badgermole and hold up Tidebinder, because basically there's a possibility where they mill a card that they need from Awaken the Honored Dead. Okay, they didn't hit what they wanted, but that's okay. Town Greeter for our opponent. We're going to let them have that. They're going to get the Cavero back. No, they're going to get a land. Oh, this only gets a land, right? Okay. I believe we have it. We'll play our land for turn. Do we have we don't have 18 damage, do we? 1, 2, 3, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16. And we need to hold up Tidebinder mana. So we'll get in with everything that's not a land. Okay. I think we've got it. Our opponent's discarding a card to get Cavero back. Yep. This is why Tidebinder's in the deck. Yep. No destruction for you, my friend. And that is it. That is why Tidebinder is in the deck. Specifically for this, but also a lot of other reasons why it's good. Game 5 with Simic Zoo. Currently 3-1. This is an interactive hand, but without any mana acceleration at all. I think we still keep it because it's this is a tempo hand, and I think we can still win with this. Leyline of Hope is not good for us. Let's hope our opponent kept a bad hand. Yeah, they didn't. That's okay. We'll play an island and say go. So we probably, depending on what they play here, there's a Vanguard. There's a Vanguard, so they're going to gain a lot of life here. Yep. Gain 2, gain 2. Yeah, we block here, I'm fairly sure. So our opponent has now gotten to the point where Leyline of Hope is going to make their creatures much bigger. And I don't think we have an out here. I think we're just very much in trouble. So we're going to try to set ourselves up to get bigger, because we need to be bigger than them. That's the only way where we get out of this game. If they have a payoff, there's Essence Channeler. So now all of their creatures are going to get bigger thanks to Leyline. Yep, no blocks for us. You got it. Starting Town comes in untapped. We have 4 mana, so we can double Flood Pit. I don't know if that does a whole heck of a lot for us this turn. So I really want to get Zookeeper down, but I just don't see how it actually... So I could play Gene Pollinator and Zookeeper, but I need to tap down their Essence Channeler. It's the only way I don't die here. So I think I need all 4 mana up for that. Do I? Can I take another hit from the Vanguards? Because that allows me to get Pollinator down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Pollinator down and then pass. So this leaves up Tidebinder, or it leaves up Flood Pit Drowner. Because if they have the removal spell at the last card in their hand... Okay, Pridemate's fine. Yep. Okay. Gain life. Gain life. Yep. We're going to tap down the Channeler. They're going to get in for 8. We're going to take it. We really have no choice. All right. I really needed a land, I think. Okay, so what do I have? So, unfortunately... Yeah, a land would have, I think, been better here. So I think the play is I play Zookeeper. And I pass the turn. Healer's Hawk is fine. We drown or the Pridemate. You gain some more life. Your creatures get bigger. We block both of your creatures. Okay. I think we just lose. I think we just lose to the Healer's Hawk here. Because I have to... I don't have a blocker for the Healer's Hawk, so I can't play Breeding Pool untapped or Healer's Hawk kills me. And I have to tuck Pridemate. Yeah, we have to tuck Pridemate. We have to play this tapped. And then we have to say go. So if they did not draw a land, I'm fairly certain that they win here. Anything other than a land and they win. Okay. So they did not draw a land, so what do I get this now? Yep. We'll play our creature. They had absolutely the best possible start. They had absolutely the best possible start here. Tough loss, tough loss. On to game 6 with Simic Zoo, Zookeeper, weird creatures, on the play with a very playable hand. Really kind of wishing that we had some ramp. We saw last game how not being able to ramp meant that we weren't able to keep up with the speed of our opponent. Yeah, we can keep this. We're going to take some damage from our lands, but we'll get this out and start with Paw Patch. Here's Appa. Yep, yep, buddy. So on the play, I'm fairly sure we slam Beastbinder here. I love that. Okay, Island, Beastbinder. We'll get in for 2. Now I like where we're at. Now I like where we're at a lot. It does depend on what our opponent's doing, but... Tap land for our opponent. We're going to play Multiversal Passage on green, and we are going to play it untapped. We'll get our Gene Pollinator down. We will attack for 3. So now that I've seen blue, I'm a little worried because our opponent could very easily be on a deck like this. Yep, yep. Pinnacle Star Cage, the perfect turn 3 play for our opponent. Yep. We're gonna slam a Flood Pit Drowner. Get in for 2. Now we are playing the tempo game. I must admit, before recording today, I lost to Dedicated Control every time I played against it. Starting town enters tapped. We will attack for 2. Kutzel's Flanker for our opponent. We're going to flash in our second Drowner and tap that. Opponent's scrying to the bottom. Split up ruins us. Day of Judgment's fine. Starting town enters tapped. Ouroboros number 1. Our opponent's digging. Stock up for them. Removes the Ouroboros. I mean, we are fighting so uphill from here at this point. Ouroboros number 2. We're going to hold our Spectral Sailor because we really need it. We're really going to need it next turn, I think. So if they play Ultima and end the turn, we're in a bad place. Do you have another removal spell? You don't say. Singularity Rupture number 1 for our opponent. We'll flash in Spectral Sailor. Play Zookeeper. Get in for 3. They have another board wipe. We are just done. Board wipe number 3 for our opponent. Or the other piece of the combo. Yeah. Good game. Congratulations, Control. You made us quit. This is it, folks. Game 7, 3-3. Can we squeak out a winning record with our Simic Zoo deck? We'll start with a starting town and play Paw Patch Recruits. We'll secondarily play a Willow Rush Verge. Unfortunately, Flood Pit Drowner here. Okay, Demon Wall for our opponent. That's very interesting because it actually tells me that the kind of deck that they're probably playing is something that we can deal with. All right, let's get our third starting town down, and I think we just say go from here. Cryogen Relic for our opponent. So they're playing blue-black artifacts. I'm okay with that. So is blue-black artifacts playing removal? Is the $10,000 question here. So I can play Druneth. I don't have a follow-up for it, do I? I think you slam Ouroboros here. Everybody gets bigger. Everybody gets in. They have to deal with Ouroboros here. They 100% have to deal with Ouroboros. I mean, now it is better. now them killing Ouroboros. Oh, Cryogen Relic. Game is over. Good game, friend. We will play our second Flood Pits Drowner. Tap down your wall. Move to combat, or a Boroid makes everything huge. Swing for 12. Okay, let's go. Good game, opponent. All right, friends and opponents, how did we do today? We ended up with a 4-3 record on camera, and I gotta tell you, I don't think that that's a good representation of just how good this deck is. I can admit that I am not always the most skillful player, and I did not have a lot of experience with this deck. I also made some changes to the list that I started with, kind of at the last second, just to kind of see if I could make some other cards work. I'm not sure that all of them were good choices, but this deck is obviously strong, and we're going to see it on the ladder, at least for the next season. I think probably for a while, because Badgermole Cub just is the truth. This allows you to get into a much higher mana value creature early in the game. Like, just by itself on turn 2, it accelerates you by 1. So this on 2 gets you to 4 mana on 3, which gets you to one of these creatures, either Zookeeper or Ouroboros. Either of them are good in this spot. I'm probably overvaluing Zookeeper here, but I just like the card a lot. I really, really do. And it's also only 1 green pip, so it's a little less tricky to make sure that you have the mana for it, rather than Ouroboros. I think there's an argument that you should be playing 4 Ouroboros and maybe only 2 Zookeepers. That's one of the changes I made, where I split them down the middle. Not really sure that that was the correct choice. Having less humans in the deck is probably good. One of the other choices that I made was to add at least 1 copy of Keen-Eyed Curator, but we saw in this game that Tidebinder shut down the Cavero deck, which is really what we had Keen-Eyed Curator there to deal with. So I would argue that Tidebinder is just better, and it also shuts down the Kona trigger when it goes off, so they can do everything right with the Kona deck, and you just stop the trigger from happening. I'm still very much of the mind that this deck needs some actual spot removal. Maybe it's into the Flood Maw or something of that variety. I'm really not keen on playing 100% creatures, but this is, this was an experiment to see how good the deck could be, and I think it was a successful one. I think the deck is very, very strong, and I look forward to fine-tuning it and kind of seeing the tech that other people are playing. I see this as a deck that I will climb the ladder with, because I like playing this deck quite a lot. So, thank you very much for watching. If you're here at the end of the video, I very much appreciate your time and attention. You are absolutely the best. I see you, and you're doing great. You're just doing great out there today. So thanks again for watching, and remember, take care of your head. Hey gang, thanks so much for tuning in. Click that subscribe button to support the channel, and check out our last video from Avatar Standard, where our earthbending went infinite.